Hello and welcome to the third round of the 1978 Grand Prix season. The starting grid for today is Tremont in the Shadow, Van Dam in the Faster Lotus, Dingley in the Tyrrell, Robson in the Williams, Jockey in the other Shadow, and Tempestini in the Brabham in the first 6 points-paying positions. Off the start and into the first corner, the order remains largely unchanged as the cars wind out down Shoreline Drive. A bit of shuttling for position further down the order as Jockey runs wide into the first corner, attempting to overtake Dingley on the inside. Front, it's still Tremont, followed closely by Van Dam. Tremont makes quite a large mistake coming out of one of the fast right-handers in Sector 1, almost throwing it all away on the inside wall. Further down the order, Strip Weathers is having a fantastic battle with the second of the two Brabhams for position, ending up being carved up by the Arrows and Wolf as well, as he apparently has some sort of damage, maybe a blown turbocharger in that Renault. Chuck Dingley up front, still mercilessly hounding the Lotus of Van Dam in the shadow of Tremont. And a clean overtake for position by Spockenmass on Robson here into the first corner. And further down the order, we have a Brabham Alfa Romeo in a sandwich between two Arrows. The end of that point I would not like to be on. And the Belgian Van Dam, multiple world champion of this kind of Grand Prix racing, still puts relentless pressure on the super sub Gervais Tremont, coming out of the hairpin on this, the 7th of 21 laps in this Grand Prix. A disaster strikes. It appears as though Van Dam has been in the wall, damaging his front suspension. It will take a while to recover from that. Hopefully he can still retain some points. And disaster again for the sister Lotus, as Van Dam's teammate is a little bit deep into the first corner, needing to use some of the runoff and ceding a little bit of time. But out front, the pressure continues as now Dingley makes his relentless assault on Tremont. A small mistake out of the final right-hander in Sector 1 there, but not too much to set him back. Tremont still commandingly in the lead of this motor race, but for how long? And now the Ligier is being pressured by Jockey in the other Shadow, still recovering from his turn 1, lap 1 mistake off the start. Truly a fantastic job Shadow is doing at one of their first Grand Prix using some purchased vehicles from Lotus. That might explain the amazing pace of these new back markers. Deep in the midfield, the pressure continues with the Brabhams, Ferraris, and the second Lotus car, all still racing tightly. Van Dam on his recovery, out of the pits and back into the fight. The sister Shadow car still relentlessly pursuing the Arrows and Ligier in the background of this race. And all the hard work undone as jockey, again, as if it is the very bane of his driving prowess, runs wide at turn 1, ceding a previously overtaken position right back to one of the arrows. Continues to pour the pressure on like hot coals, as I imagine his tires are now lumps of hot coal. There can't be much left of the softs that most of the teams have elected to take for this race, with several spins, offs, and flicks to ensure he makes his way back to the racing surface. They are truly punished by now. Yet the pressure still on as he makes a move out of the final hairpin on the shoreline drive, re-overtaking the arrows for what must be the second or third time now. But the counter-attack using the toe is predictable, and he defends quite nicely. And Dam still hot on the tail of the points position. Now next target, a Williams. The vehicle's becoming more and more difficult to pass as he makes his way through the back markers and back up towards the podium. His next opponent, seemingly eager to get out of the way and perhaps make some friends with the fans, finds his way into a wall, luckily not collecting Van Dam, our many times world champion. The Sister Lotus still relentlessly pursuing the Ligiers and other midfield runners, making his way through lap traffic as he continues on. And Hugo Gehring, struggling to contain all 12 cylinders, producing horsepower in his beautiful Ferrari, under fire from the team for not performing and earning more points early in the season. It may very well be his last race with the Scuderia. And Van Dam's relentless assault on the points-paying positions continues as he now finds his way to Gehring himself, looking to make the overtake as we come into the right-hander before the stadium section. The defense is textbook from Gehring, but the brakes of the Lotus reign supreme. Around the outside, the world champion runs. And next, Van Dam, the venerable Belgian, finds himself fighting the arrows up front for position. A little bit of a wiggle, maybe some hesitation as they find some lap traffic. 3 wide into the first corner. And through. Truly a championship-worthy performance we are seeing here today from Van Dam. Meanwhile, up front now, Jockey settled into position in the second of the 2 shadow cars and feeling the pressure as Van Dam approaches on his recovery drive. I can't imagine he would want to make the overtake easy for the multiple-time world champion, but whether or not he can defend even with all of his emotions on his sleeve is yet to be determined. And a textbook defensive line into the right-hander before the triple lefts and the hairpin shoreline drive. Side by side, quite close, but the champion does manage to take the position from Mr. Jockey. A desperate bid to keep up. Unfortunately, the second of the two shadows, piloted by Jockey, does find himself in the wall, trying maybe just a little too hard. But our other plucky midfield members, such as the Arrows and the McLaren, soldier on to take advantage of the misfortune of the second shadow. But in only his second start in the Formula One Grand Prix World Championship for drivers, Gervais Tremont takes the win, the victory for Shadow and for France, ahead of Spockenlass, Dingley, Tempestini, Van Dam, and Peshnikov in the Arrows.